Alright, 3.9b. I'm going to continue on. I'm on page 236 and I'm jumping over to 237. I'm going to do 1/2 plus 2/3, and again long line, 3/4 minus 1/6. Alright, a little bit more complicated there because I can't do anything with this group and this group until I find common denominators, add these together, common denominators, and add these together. Alright, let me show you another trick. You can do it that way. You can find common denominators of 1/2 and make that 3/6 plus, and that has to be changed to a 6. 4/6, add those together and get 7/6. And then here you're going to get common denominators of 12. So that's going to be 12 and that'll be 9. 3/4. To get a common denominator we'll change to 9/12, and this will change to a 12 and a 2. And this is old stuff, that's why I'm kind of rushing through it a little bit. Alright, so now I have 7/6 divided by 7/12. I flip my 7/12 upside down to 12/7 and multiply. And I try to cancel some things that I can. I can divide that out. So now I have 12/6. 12/6 reduces to 2. Okay, that's the method that we have been doing as far as solving what's on the top first, solving what's on the bottom, until you only have one item, one fraction here, one fraction there. Invert the bottom one, or find the reciprocal of it, flip it over, and then multiply it times the 7/6. Alright, another method of doing this that if you want to try is you look at all four of the fractions here and find out what the common denominator is to all four of them. Well, this one isn't too bad because 2 goes into 12, 3 goes into 12, 4 does, and 6 does. So the common denominator for all four of these fractions is 12. Well, if you do that and you multiply the entire top and the entire bottom by 12, let's see what happens here. 12 times 1/2 is 12/2. 12 times 2/3 is 24/3. Because remember, the 12 just multiplies by the top, the bottoms stay the same, because it's the same as 12/1, and 1 times 2 and 1 times 3. Do the same here. 36/4 minus 12/6. Now you can look at every one of these, and I can guarantee every one of those will change from a fraction to a whole number. So 12/2 is 6. 24/3 is 8. 36/4 is 9. 12/6 is 2. Alright, so now we have no fractions. Life is good. 14/7, which reduces to 2. So we get the same answer either way. That just gives you a chance to get rid of the fractions so that you're not dealing with them anymore. You find the common denominator once, multiply the top by it, multiply the bottom by it, and you get rid of all your fractions and you're just dealing with whole numbers. So there's just another trick as far as being able to do these if you're not a real number lover or a fraction lover. Okay, so let's try one like 3 plus 1/2, and let's put that over 2 minus 3/4. Okay, this is another one, just like I said before. If we look at all of our fractions, which in this case we only have 2, find the common denominator to the 1/2 and the 3/4. Common denominator is obviously 4. So I can multiply this by a 4 and this by a 4, my common denominator. And let's see what we come up with. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 4 times 1/2 is 4/2. And we look at this, 4 times 2 is 8, minus 4 times 3 is 12/4. Alright, so let's change these, and again, I guarantee they will change to whole numbers. They will no longer be fractions. So this becomes 4/2 is 2, 8 minus 12/4 is 3. So we have, again, 14 on top. 8 minus 3 is 5. So we have 14 over 5. Because we're going to change these to a mixed number, we end up getting 14 divided by 5. Get rid of some of this so it's not so confusing. And 5 goes into 14 too, with 4 left over. So my final answer ends up being 2 and 4/5. Alright. Which brings us to our last example here. 10 and 1/3. And we are going to put that over 8 and 2/3. So, what I would suggest doing with this is what we've done in the past. Rewrite this horizontally. It doesn't really matter, I guess, if you write it horizontally, but now let's just do that. Change them to improper fractions. 24 divided by 26. Notice I did not change this to a multiplication sign yet. I have to change it to improper fractions first. Now I can flip things over. Alright, at this point there's a multiplication sign there, so I can divide those out. And I come up with an answer of 31. Whoops, see? I made another mistake here. I made that 26 a 36. So I end up with an answer of 31 over 26. And if I divide it out, just like I'm supposed to, now after a while you probably just leave it like this. I'm not a real mixed number fan, but the book wants you to do it, so we'll do it for right now. So 1 and 5 over 26 is what you end up with as far as the final answer. So that is lecture 3.9, and I will leave you to your misery for the problem sets. Well, while I'm looking here, let's look at number 20 real quick. See if I have time on the video to do that, or at least I can explain what's going on here. Get you started with it anyway. Okay. What I would suggest doing is, first of all, adding these together, then multiplying each one times 2. But at the same time, what I would do is I would look at what would happen if I distributed this 5. See, if I distribute this 5, I get 5 times 1. I get a 5 over 5 here, right? This times this. And if I distribute this 5 over here, I get a 15 over 10. And if you remember from reducing, 5 over 5 is 1, and 15 over 10 isn't going to work for me. I was going to say, if it worked out that this was a 3, then you could just add 1 plus 3 and get 4 and not have to find common denominators. But, so just something to consider when you're doing these, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case it didn't. So, we're going to add these together. We're going to change that to 2 over 10 plus 3/10, common denominators. We're going to change this to common denominators of 10. 10 and 2, the common denominator is 10. Then I'm going to add what's inside my parentheses first. Okay? I cannot make this 5 and 5/10. There's a multiplication sign there, not an addition sign. So I'm going to make this 25 over 10 plus 12 over 10 and get 37 over 10. Then I'm going to go ahead and change that to a mixed number of 3 and 7/10. So there we go. Done with chapter 3 and 3.9.